Thank you for the muting, Manny. That's helpful.
All right, we're live.
Gosh darn pile of rubbish.
Yes, I was just complaining about GDPR. I am so freaking sick of GDPR.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I find it deeply ironic that I think this is the greatest spam creation event in the history of the internet.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, what's funny is like a week ago, I started getting emails from people. We've changed our policy so that we can comply with GDPR. And now I'm getting like emails where they're trying to make jokes about it while they tell me that they're updating. I'm sure this is like the 10 millionth.
Yeah.
Every time I read one of those GDPR ones, I think, bitch. I think you are a bitch. You complied to this shit. You know, we should send one out that says, fuck GDPR. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want with your data. You gave us the data. Fuck you.
John just basically summarized my stance on GDPR.
I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm a fucking American. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to comply to some bullshit. Fuck you.
Well, you've got these big companies that want to be global companies, and so they want to be in Europe. And the reality is about half of the companies that have emailed you and said, hey, we're going to comply with GDPR. If they didn't comply with GDPR, and the EU, you know, they got sued in the EU, and EU basically said you can't do business here, bye-bye. They lose maybe 5% of their customer base.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Facebook, Google, you know, some of those bigger companies that are kind of all over the world and everybody uses even over there. I mean, that's a different story. But for everybody else, it's just been this major freak out over what's basically amounts to nothing.
Okay, so can we just finish it up in 60 seconds? What do we need to do?
Nothing. Don't collect back tax and fuck GDPR.
Okay, so this is not the first time that something like this has happened. Yes, John's right. VAT tax, right? 3 years ago, there was this big uproar about the European Union said everybody who ever sells anything to anyone in the EU has to collect a VAT tax and file taxes in every freaking country. I think is how it worked. You had to you were supposed to be filing taxes with all these little European countries, and nobody I don't know anybody who's done that. I mean, I think there are probably a couple people I know that maybe did it, and there's been nothing that I've not heard of any issues coming out of that. Canada passed last year or the year before their castle law, I think they called it, and it was the same deal. It was basically the same requirements as GDPR, which is you have to have express consent to email anyone. So basically in Canada, you were supposed to go email everyone in your database who was in Canada and tell them you have to opt in again to give me express consent to email you, which would basically, I mean, literally decimate your email list. Like the word decimate means to reduce to 1/10, I think, or
exactly.
Yeah. So basically, you would throw away 90% of your list if you did that. No, I don't know of anybody that did that. There's been nothing done. We certainly didn't do anything with it. Drip has not forced us to do anything about it. So that is my stance on GDPR for now, unless Drip comes and makes me do it. My stance is I will implement GDPR when Europe starts sending me a check for free healthcare. So otherwise, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I mean, there's plenty of laws that the U.S. has that Europe does not recognize, and vice versa. So that is the point of having nations.
Right, but what do you need to do for GDPR?
So if you want to be GDPR compliant, you need to update all of your opt-in forms to have an additional disclaimer saying, I consent to receive promotional emails from this company. Possibly include a checkbox on there that they have to check.
Right.
And then Drip also made it possible for you to put, if you do double opt-in, to put a GDPR compliant statement into your double opt-in. And then you also have to go to your current database, and anyone who is in the EU, you have to go back to them and get express consent before you can email them. So, I mean, from an email marketing standpoint, that is what I know to be, that's what I understand of the requirements. And then
I love that I'm getting the emails too, though. We can't email you unless you opt in again. And
Right.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't remember opting in the first place. Bye bye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think what most people are doing is they're just blasting their entire list because it's too hard to segment geographically and have it be accurate. And so they're just doing a better safe than sorry approach on it. And it's, again, like, you could theoretically optimize your opt-in forms so that those only show up in Europe, but I mean, that's like a whole software development project that I don't think there's any tools out there right now that support that. So basically, you're reducing your opt-in rate for the US by 25% probably or more on the front end by doing that. So that is why, until further until I'm required to do it by someone who has legitimate power over me, I'm not going to be doing anything with it.
Yeah, I've had enough people freaking out about it that I've decided that I probably ought to do podcast episodes about it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I have not done anything.
I want to see new opt-in forms roll out. I guess all of these guys, Thrive Cards and Opt-in Monster, and all these guys are working on their new versions.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, they're probably Thrive Card or Thrive
team
leads should have some tools that make it a little bit easier to comply. But I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like if you're in Europe, like if you're a small business in Europe, this is going to be crippling because you're going to lose a big chunk of your email list, and it's not safe to say, like, oh well, just because they didn't opt in, again, just because they didn't opt in, I didn't want them on my list because like a lot of those emails will get lost in transit. A bunch of them will end up in spam. A bunch of them will end up in promotions tab or the updates tab and just not get seen. So, you're going to lose a big chunk of really, your best subscribers. It kind of sucks for them, but
I've been looking at some of the emails, and all they're saying, like AppSumo sent out an email, a bunch of them sent out emails. All they're saying is, hey, we have updated our privacy policy. Check it out here. Is that enough?
I do not believe that's enough.
That's what they're doing.
Not to comply with it. It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why when I read those emails, I'm like, bitch, because you're just like at least like say I'm not doing it, right? Or do it. Like, don't send out an email that's like, oh, look at our privacy policy, or ha 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 GDPR, ha ha, right? Trying to get by. Like, either you're doing it or you're not doing it.
But these are big companies like Medium and AppSumo and all these guys, right?
Right.
They're trying to fly in under the radar.
So yeah. I don't think that is full. I don't think that amounts to full compliance. And like, it's also a little different with Medium, where they're not, like, for Medium, it might be enough for you to just update your privacy policy because people are signing up for the service. It's completely different than what we do. It's like, I mean, it's basically an app, right? And if you signed up for an app, then disclosing how the app data gets used is one thing versus like if you're collecting personal information for marketing purposes like we are, that's an entirely different thing. As far as I know, Medium doesn't really do anything with your email address other than send you the emails that you've requested, like that you've opted in for.
Medium, Mashable, all sorts of people are sending these emails.
Yeah.
I've just been archiving them.
It's a joke. It's a serious joke. Like, what the hell?
You need to opt. No, I don't.
So that's my understanding, Manny, and I that is from talking to a guy who's an email marketing guru over in the UK he's basically doing this with his business and his wife's business. So there's probably nuances to it that I'm not aware of, but that's the highlights that I'm aware of. And we also got this was kind of funny. We got an email from we run display ads on simpleprogrammer.com, and we got an email from our the company that manages those ads, and they said we rolled out some changes to the platform so that now in the EU everyone has to opt into ads before they'll see ads. And I'm like, I'm like,
goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
You're done. Goodbye.
Like, that's just, yeah, I mean, like, good grief. Like, how many people are going to opt in to see ads? Is it like 3%? I mean, good grief.
That's why it's such a joke. It doesn't matter. Like, this is one of those things where you just let the idiots comply to the law until they go out of business, and then who's going to be left is the people who don't comply, and then the law gets rolled back. So
yes. So it will be interesting to see. So I had a guy email me and say he's kind of like itching to see the EU try to find someone in the US because of what Trump would do. Like, it would be. I replied. I said, trust me, if we get slapped with a fine, John and I will personally go to the White House and make sure that Trump is aware of it. Like,
yeah,
it will be. I mean, it would be very interesting. I don't imagine that they're gonna try it, but it will be interesting.
How would they enforce it against an American?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't really think. I guess if you have a business, if you have business entities,
if you have a nexus,
like, if you've got like offices there, you're sort of like, right. You're kind of like we got screwed because we simple programmer lives in California in one sense because we file a tax form there. So I had to pay California state income tax this year.
Oh man,
that's
like 900%.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So I had to pay California state income tax even though I don't live there. So I think, if you've got like legitimate legal ties to the EU, then they can probably get after you.
Well, they'd have to get after your assets within the European Union. That's the only thing they could do. They can't.
Right.
They couldn't attach a judgment to a U.S. bank account, for instance. It has.
They could have Google block your website in EU, or your search traffic in EU.
That's true.
I don't think so.
They could.
How they? It's not like they're gonna. It's not like they can control Google.
So recently I got a copyright issue from Think and Grow Rich people, and they basically asked Google to delist my page from rankings.
Oh, wow.
And we're literally trying to do this right now.
Under DCMA though, that's different.
Yeah.
That's under the grounds that like you're hosting something illegal. That's
you're violating copyright.
Yeah, but like there's no way to even fight it. But yeah, I get it. Like they could do something like that with GDPR rather than DCMA.
Well, let's see. I mean, if we resort to a fully like whatchamacallit, come get me. Come and go for it.
You put out your hands. Take me away.
Yeah. Come at me, bro.
Yeah, they would have to spend so much resources just to find who's doing it and who's not doing it. They would go crazy just trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My take on it is that this is it's another one of those really big sweeping laws that only hurts. It does nothing to actually make anything about the situation better. It just hurts the people that legitimately want to do business the right way and are going to try to comply with it.
Right. Well, plus it's just retarded as hell for two reasons. One, here's the thing: like, it's going the wrong direction of technology. Like, what we need to be doing is starting to embrace that our data is everywhere and everyone has access to all your personal data and knows exactly who you are and what you're doing and how many times you jacked off and watched porno videos in a day. Like that's where we need to go, because that's what the future holds, right? As technology increases, as fucking video cameras get smaller and smaller and drones and all this shit, there's no way that we're going to become more secure in our personal data. Our personal data is going to become public property pretty soon, whether we like it or not. So any kind of like regulation or law to like try and to go against the fucking tide of technology is stupid. And then the second thing is for the second reason, it's going against basic freedom, right? So why should I not be able to email whoever the fuck I want? It's not like I'm stealing from them. It's not like I'm hurting them or, causing some kind of theft from them. I'm sending them an email. So that should be well within my rights as a human being to send an email to someone without penalty. So especially if they've actually given me the email address, right? So I shouldn't have to like confirm with them or like all this. Otherwise, where does my rights lie, right? If I'm harming no one, I should be able to do whatever I want to do, with my own personal property in that case. So I think for both of those reasons, it's going against the tide, right? So I mean, yeah, maybe in the political tide, we're going more to a communist, state, but at least in the technology side, it makes no sense at all. That's my rant for today.
Nice.
And rant.
Right. I think we've killed that horse.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well, it had to come up, right?
Yes.
I guess I'm going to just go in my privacy policy and put GDPR at random places just so that someone searches GDPR. They're like, hey, there's GDPR. All right, we're done.
There you go. I love it.
Well, the other thing is they have all that right to be forgotten and all that crap in there, right? And yeah, I just put in there, okay, fine. If you want to exercise your right to be forgotten, or you don't want me to contact you anymore, you lose access to everything.
Yes.
The burden, though, the burden is put on the wrong place. That's the problem. Yeah. You as a consumer, it's your fucking burden to choose whether or not you give your data out. Right now, it would be different if we're talking about people illegally obtaining your data, like fucking, spying on you and shit or whatever, or stealing your data from your trash can. But even then, it's still your responsibility to make sure you shred that shit. So the burden is in the wrong place, because we can't, as a business owner, you can't be responsible for everyone's data. They're responsible for that, right? That's the thing. It's like it's shifting the responsibility to the wrong place.
Yep.
If you want to educate the consumer, tell them, say, hey, every time that you give someone your email address, or you type shit into Facebook, or you put a fucking photo on Facebook of your kid, like, you're giving that to the world. So do you want to do that? No? Okay, then fine. Don't do that.
I mean, I think that the people that are really the ones that people should be worried about is like basically Google, Facebook, and maybe a couple other big media companies, and everybody else. I mean, seriously, do you really think that the dry cleaner that you put your email address in a fishbowl to get a free ticket, whatever, like, you really think that they're going to be abusing your data?
Yes.
Only in Europe they do that.
Stupid European fish bowls.
All right, moving on.
Manny, did you launch? I saw a email come through about the meditation course, about the affiliate program.
Yeah, I did not launch, but the emails are still like a lot of data collection is going on.
You have permission for that?
Well, it's just a basic. I'm running some surveys to understand more of like what are the benefits they're going after, right? So I did that, and I found that productivity and focus is like number one. That's the biggest thing. Second is like stress and inner peace, calm. Third is brain power, and fourth is mental toughness. So those are the meditation benefits that people are asking for.
Okay.
I'm going to send out another one today. So instead of sending out a full-blown survey in a document, I'm just like putting segments of a survey in the email itself, because as soon as they click, I know what they registered for. I mean, what they want, and that's all. Rather than, because every time you make them click, you lose 50% of the people anyways, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to run another one today, which would be more about what would you most like to learn from a live meditation workshop. And the options I had here,
can I throw one little thing in there real quick about that? I like that methodology. The one caution is that the first option tends to be the one that the most people click on.
Yeah, in this case, it was second.
Okay, all right, well, that's better.
The first one came third.
Okay, good.
I agree. I was concerned about that too.
Okay.
But that's going to happen with every survey, right?
Yeah, I mean, like SurveyMonkey allows you to randomize the questions. So there's ways to get around it, but
Fair.
but
Okay.
if people were not, if that pattern didn't pop out, if it wasn't like first option got 60% and the second option got 30, and
Yeah.
string like that, then I think you're fine.
Okay, I could send 2 emails and just
I wouldn't
randomize.
I wouldn't worry about it at this point, but
Yeah.
it sounds like you got a good result.
Just get permission first.
The second one I'm sending out today, which would be, I'm thinking of hosting a live meditation workshop. What would you most like to learn in that workshop? And the options are how to meditate the right way, how to make meditation a daily habit, how to make sure that I'm making progress in my meditation practice, and advanced meditation that will help me get all the scientifically proven benefits of meditation as soon as possible.
Okay,
So
cool.
I know John and Josh, I've touched on your pain points in this. Have I?
Yeah, read it again.
Okay, these are the 4 options. Number 1, how to meditate the right way. Number 2, how to make meditation a daily habit. Number 3, how to make sure that I'm making progress in my meditation practice. Number 4, advanced meditation that will help me get all the scientifically proven benefits of meditation as fast as possible.
I think for me, I would probably click number 3.
Well, yeah, that's the one that you actually told me about.
Yep, that will be like people that have tried it. That will be one that people have tried it and failed would click.
Yeah. John, what would you pick?
I would say, I mean, either 1, 2, or 3, but probably 3 as well.
Just to feel like you're making progress?
Yeah.
Huh. Chuck, what would you pick if you had to pick one?
What are my options again?
This
Sorry,
is
I was meditating on something else.
I'll read it out again. It's a short email. I'm thinking of hosting a live meditation workshop. What would you most like to learn in that workshop? How to meditate the right way, how to make meditation a daily habit, how to make sure that I'm making progress in my meditation practice, how to get all the benefits of meditation.
Probably number 4.
Number 4.
So did you send the email out yet?
No, it's going to go out shortly.
Okay, cool.
We just biased your results. Sorry.
I would.
No.
Yeah, I'd be very curious. If you could email us afterwards, I'd love to see the results.
Yeah, for sure. I will send you the data on it.
I'm guessing that 1 or 2 is going to win, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I think that the number of people that haven't tried it and think they want to is probably a lot higher.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I've been indoctrinating them on that, and I've been sending a free meditation guide on it as well, free meditation audio as well. So around 25% of my list has already gotten onto it.
Okay.
But still, I believe that's going to be a problem because there's still, and that's why I need to be able. That's why I'm going to be able to sell the workshop, right? Because people still need help with that.
Right.
Oh, by the way, with regards to the email open rates, so a couple of changes I made. I removed the images.
Okay.
Also reduced the number of links. And I'm getting in the mid-20s now. Not going back to 30s yet, but not staying in the teens either. So I was at like 17, 18. Now I'm at like 25, 26. Just making sure there are not a lot of links and also not putting images in there. Like that, I remember just changing that, like removing an image and almost the same email format. Put me out of the promotion folder and back into the updates folder.
Okay. I turned on, after we had that conversation last week, I went into Gmail and destroyed my inbox and turned on all the tabs. Manny, with the updates tabs, I have an updates tab and a forums tab, but I had to actually select those.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay. I would be curious to know.
Forums.
Well, promotions. So when you create a new Gmail account, it looks like you get primary, social, and promotions, and then you can also add updates and forums.
Yeah.
And I had to add. So I'm thinking that actually the updates. I'd be curious what happens if they don't have the updates tab enabled.
Well, then it goes to inbox. Because
Okay.
it doesn't go to promotion.
I need to test that.
So the updates is a separation inside the inbox. Well, yeah, test it.
Right. Yeah. So I set up. I signed up the Entre Programmers podcast email for the Simple Programmer email list, and all of our emails are going to the updates tab.
Good.
So yeah. So I'm gonna deselect updates here and see. Save. See what happens. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It does go to primary.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah. All right. And that kind of matches what I'm seeing. So on mine, I'm seeing on my personal email, I'm seeing them all go to the updates tab, which is oddly, I'm seeing my emails, my daily emails from joshuaearl.com coming to primary, but it's probably because I've like interacted with them so much that it's tainted.
Yeah.
But so after we had that conversation last week, I reached out in the Entre Programmers chat. Joe replied and said that his email open rates have absolutely tanked recently. And then I posted on another forum that I belong to, and I had somebody else there, one or two other people there, say they've had the same experience in the last it was more like this spring, basically, since not as directly on April, the date in April that we saw, but they've seen like significant. I mean, like going from 25% to 10%, pretty huge. Pretty huge.
Brutal.
So I don't know. I don't know if something really did happen or what, but I've been getting like around 20%. We're right up against around 20% with the Joshua Earl or the dev careers at Simple Programmer address that I created. I did learn that that can make Google angry. So there's a chance that, they don't want you they don't want you trying to get around, like if they penalize you. It's kind of like with Facebook. If you create a new Facebook account to do Facebook ads and you've been banned, like you can really get them angry.
You can really get banned.
Well,
yeah.
No, just
and stay down.
But just say it's a valid. I mean, it's valid, right? Because now you're sending them from Josh, because there's different people that exist at this company that send mass emails.
Right.
That's a totally valid thing. Like sometimes it's Josh, sometimes it's John. So I think that's totally valid.
Yeah. I'm just kind of crossing my fingers that I don't get hammered on that.
I'm gonna have to try that to get back to 30%.
Yeah, it's worth an experiment. You can do it pretty easily. Just once you don't even have to. You could just create an alias. It doesn't even have to be a real email address initially.
Yeah, but expect open rates to drop now, right? After all the GDPR emails came out, people are not going to be opening as many emails for a while.
Hey, all the GDPR guys who really did GDPR, their emails are dropping. Hey, we're cool. We're not really doing GDPR.
That's right.
We're good with
Less competition.
Less competition.
Do you think there'll be a lot less emails and inboxes after this? I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
I'm hearing from all the people I didn't hear from for years now.
This reminds me of the argument of the gun control argument of like making guns illegal and then only criminals will have them. So
we're not starting that here.
We're going to be criminals with the email guns.
Don't start it.
We're the renegade. We'll send emails however we want.
Don't start it.
And all the law-abiding people will
don't
be
start it.
penalized.
Don't start it. Okay, so meditation course. So as I figured out, like productivity and focus are number one, and then inner peace and brain power, and then mental toughness. So I guess I'm gonna hit on productivity and focus as the number one like benefit. But like remember, we're talking about that headline. So instead of saying learn to meditate, the headline needs to be something along the lines of leading with the benefit and then through meditation,
right?
Or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like improve your productivity through meditation, or improve your productivity and brain power through meditation through scientifically proven meditation practice.
Right. The you'll probably need to combine it with what the results of the survey that you're doing now.
Right.
Right. Like
as in the next survey.
Yeah, the survey that's coming out now. Like looking at the two of those, if you have the two ideas together, it should start to suggest what your headline should be.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like what you want to learn You know, it would be like it would be like an example would be, you know, improve your productivity and focus by finally learning how to meditate correctly, right? You know, like that. So you can kind of mash up the two ideas.
Yeah. Or this one weird meditation hack will improve your productivity and focus.
There you go. Like that. Yeah, I love it.
Man. Yeah, and I'm still thinking of like, I mean, I'm still working on the copy, but 3 angles of the copy, the way I see it is, one is my story, second is scientific proof, and the third is, or scientific research, and third is other famous people who are doing it. So using all 3 of them together in separate instances of the letter to convince them, and then going to, you know, emphasize a lot on what it is they want the most, as in if they want to figure out how they're making progress, then that's what emphasize more on that than the other benefits. Is there any other benefit that I didn't, like, not a benefit, but any other thing that I didn't cover when it comes to what you would like to learn from a meditation workshop? Like how to meditate the right way, how to make it a habit, how to get all the benefits of meditation, and how to make progress in meditation.
I mean, how long do you hold it out when you say, oh?
That's one thing I want to like also debunk,
right?
Yeah, the myth that people think meditation is somewhat, you know, spiritual or religious or woo-woo, which it has nothing to do with that. It is just mind control. I mean, it's straight up scientific mind control. It's a workout. It's a workout for your brain. But people have the association, and I don't know if I should address that in the copy or like
just segment your list to Southern to the Rust Belt, and then send out one that's like, well, I go to hell if I meditate.
I think that you probably, that would be like, that comes up under the objections header, and there might be, right there, that would be something that you would put way down in the body copy, you know, kind of like toward the end where you're like knocking down objections. But it would be in the same category as I don't have time. You know, it might be something that would be better. I mean, typically what I do with a sales page is like, it ends up being something that I could slice up into, you know, 20 emails. So it would probably be good to address it in an email, because that's going to be a common objection. I would put it down toward the bottom. So one of the things you want to do when you're writing copy is to try to think about, like, it's hard to do, but you have to kind of think about, as you're reading through it, like, what are they going to be, like, when does that objection pop into their head, right? And it usually it's not right at the start. Usually it's like you get all the way down, and it's like, okay, this sounds really good, but I don't have time, right? And that's where you want to try to anticipate. And it's really like, I don't have a good formula for how to do it, but it's a.
So is it helpful to kind of dispel some of these myths in the pre-emails, like even before the launch emails go out, like start to attract some of the most basic ones, like I don't have time, or it's a religious practice or a spiritual practice, because then it can help widen the net of people who would be open up for the.
I don't think I would do it beforehand. I think I would do it after, like, to the people that haven't taken the step yet.
Okay,
that are interested and haven't taken the step.
How about this? The people who are not yet, who haven't downloaded the meditation or who haven't done it yet, maybe a small survey or maybe a survey just to them saying, hey, tell me, why do you not want to meditate, and get some data on that.
The problem though is like, well, if you proactively address, it's better, right? So, I mean, just think about like in normal conversation, right? Like if I'm convincing you of something, if you're like, wow, yeah, I would buy from you, but you're an asshole. But if I'm like, wait a minute, hey, I know I'm an asshole, but right. So if you say it, it's done, right? If you're like, oh, I don't have time, it's done. But if I say, I know you think you might not have enough time, but let me tell you, right? Like if you address it proactively, but if they've already said it, then they're going to be consistent with that, and they've already got it in their head. But if you sort of disarm them by stating the obvious, right? And so I think that's key. Like if you ask them for the objection becomes solidified in their mind. If you address the objection before they've decided on it, before they've mentioned it, then it's much more effective persuasion.
I have a feeling that there's a segment of the
I would also just add that you want to do this after you sell them on the benefits, and do it with the people who haven't bought yet, because in a lot of cases, they're not even going to care what objections you're addressing until they think they may want it anyway, right?
I think it could be useful though to do it like, okay, so what if you send an email that said skeptical about meditation ? And then you're like, I'm hanging out here on this, in this place. Come hit me with all your questions about meditation.
Yeah.
That would be useful.
That would work, yeah.
And you'd learn, like, I agree with what John's saying in general, but like at this point you don't know all the objections. So getting to know, like figuring out what the objections are would be valuable for you.
Yeah.
Well, and you can address it too and just say, I got this great question from Jane, blah, 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 right? And then you're proactively answering it for everybody else.
Yeah.
I got this great feedback from Chuck when I was talking to him, and as soon as I said meditation, he said Om. So
that would be a great email. That would be a great email. You could do it,
Yeah.
I would go into details of Chuck and how he would be very different from the person who would usually think of meditating. But then I convinced Chuck to meditate, and now he's been a meditator for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you could even you could put the subject line in that said, Chuck asked how long I should say Om, and then you bunch of O's and a bunch of M's or whatever. But, and then in the email, it's like, hey, I was on this call. We were talking about the course and I got asked this question. He was joking, but at the same time, a lot of people think this. And, you can kind of lead people in that way.
That's actually really good.
Yeah. So the story will definitely, I guess I could do a YouTube live. Let's take our shirts off and talk about meditation.
Just make sure it doesn't get abbreviated or anything like the meditation part.
LTOSOMO, AMO. Okay, so this is good. I'm gonna do that. Okay, by the way, one more thing. Not one more thing, but remember last week I reached out to you about SEO?
Yes.
So that's the thing I'm going to target as soon as I'm done with my meditation workshop, because I realize I have shit ton of content that's been sitting without any SEO work done on it. So one of the things I was trying to figure out, I was looking at my search console, and I found that there's specific search terms that I get a lot of hits for, which is book name. Maybe I should, book name, whatever. So if I can, the question that I was trying to figure out was, should I go for the smaller searched number, like maybe 1,000, 2,000 volume, or should I go for 10,000, 20,000 volume? Because the more popular the books, the more competition there is.
This is where you need more data, all right? So this is where a tool like Ahref is invaluable. So what you'll see, Ahref gives you the search volume, which is one piece of it. And then they give you a competitive metric. I forget what they call it, but it's like relatively how difficult is this to rank for.
Okay.
So it's like a score. And you'll see words like Java interview questions has a difficulty score of 18. And that's a logarithmic scale of 1 to 100. So 18 is very, very low. Code reviews has a score of 61. So it is exponentially, I don't know how many times more difficult it is to rank for that. So what you want to do is look for the highest volume keywords that have a low difficulty rating. And that's where, like, for us, Java interview questions, we published a blog post titled Java interview questions, and it instantly ranked number 3 because the difficulty rating for that keyword was low. And we had enough juice to get us to the first page. So for you, like, you need to figure out, I imagine I don't know, how much traffic do you get a month, like, roughly?
It varies a lot, but maybe 10 to 20K uniques.
Okay. Yeah, so that's about, so that's like a lot less than us, but
pretty small, very small.
Yeah. But you've got some history with the site. You've got some credibility with Google. So yeah, I would probably go. I mean, for me, what I'm looking for is I want to see 3,000 to 5,000 searches a minimum a month on a keyword. If I'm going to go
for you
after
guys, for a simple programmer, but I don't care. I can go for 500 to 1,000.
Yeah, if it's 500 to 1,000, that might be worth going after, especially if the difficulty is 10, which might be the case in a lot of these.
Yeah, and the thing about these targeted keywords is that the search intent is really good, in the sense people will download the freebie that is associated with it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm seeing right now.
So this is 2,000 books, right?
Yeah.
You can keep talking, but I'm looking at Ahrefs right now.
Yeah, Ahrefs. So the certain book name PDF will get a lot more traction than any other search. And what I have is over 100 interviews with authors, like podcast interviews that are just sitting as podcast formats and very simple 4 bullet items. Instead, now I'm going to just put the whole text in there and have them, if they want, download a summary of the book or something like that, PDF summary. So that way I can get a lot more juice out of it.
Okay, so I'm looking at your site here. So your domain ranking is only 9. I think ours is 60 something. Let me just.
Damn.
So yeah, but that, I mean, you have something. There's a lot of websites out there that have a 1. I'm just gonna look at what ours is to compare it. You've only got 237 backlinks that Ahrefs is aware of. So a lot of this stuff is not accurate. It's just order of magnitude accurate.
Yeah.
So it's a useful.
But which would be true because I don't get much backlinks from authors.
Right. They wouldn't want to backlink to you.
I mean, they should. They if they did a podcast interview, they would, and they do. But a lot of times they just don't care to. So it's
So okay, yeah. So our domain rating is 67. Yours is 9. You've got 237 backlinks. We have 78,000. So those are the backlinks is something with 237 backlinks. If you can get another 50, you really move the needle. For us, it's a much slower climb. And I'm just look at your keywords real quick, see if anything pops out to me. So so make it stick PDF.
Yeah.
Is 1,000 searches a month. Is that one of your top posts?
Well, it has become one of the top ones. I never intended it to, but the summary PDF is the one that people download. I get 10% of visitors to download it.
You're ranked number 4 right now for it, and you could move that. You have, I don't know how many backlinks you have to that, but if you had 5 backlinks to that, I bet you that it would move up to the number 1 because the difficulty ranking on that is 0.
Yeah. I'm betting a lot of the book name PDF, the difficulty ranking on those is very close to 0 when the search volume is in the 1,000 range.
I'm looking here
the organized mind
0, 3, 6, 1, 0, 0. Yeah, basically it's all zeros.
So in that case, I don't even need backlinks. I just need high quality content, and that itself is allowing me to grow it.
Well, yeah, you're ranking. Yeah, but if you got a backlink or 2, you could get from. That's where I would look at your ranking. So if you're ranked 3 or below, getting a couple backlinks and maybe improving the quality of the page a little bit.
So how do you this is becoming an SEO discussion, but backlink for something like this, how do you get those for book summaries and stuff? Where would you go for that?
You would need to go and look for people that are linking to similar content and ask them to link to you. So it's a manual research process. So the Brian Dean SEO course that I did, his whole point is don't go out and try to get people to link to your existing content. Go look at what people are linking to and then create that content on your site and then ask them to link to it. So you're basically, he focuses on not so much getting links to existing posts, but creating something new that will get a ton of links and become a major source of traffic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And in my case, I want to leverage what I already have in terms of content.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
And there's shit ton of content that has been unleveraged,
Right.
like crazy, and that's what I want to use more than anything else.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I would definitely
creating new content is, of course, new work now.
Right. I mean, you could always go to people that have done reviews of these books and tell them that you have the summary that people could get that they would enjoy.
Nah.
It's definitely tougher when you're asking people to opt in for the content.
Well, a lot of the stuff is already free over there, but yeah, if you look at the Make It Stick one, it's pretty. The whole post is free.
Oh, okay, okay.
But people can still download the PDF, and they get the PDF version of the post.
Oh, okay.
And I still get like 10% of people to convert on that, which is amazing.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, I actually think you could get backlinks for that.
Okay.
If you went and like found a list of people that had written blog posts about that, I could definitely see people saying, "Here, check out a summary of this here." You know, putting parentheses and after after they mention the title of the book and say, you know, here's a summary of it. I could see them doing that. So it's just a manual. Like it's backlink building is a pain because you have to kiss a lot of frogs. You just have to get a list and email them, and there's nothing fun about it.
Yeah. So the low-hanging fruit I have in front of me is like, because the competition is almost zero, if I just put high-quality content on there, which I did with Make It Stick, I have no backlinks on it for real. Like there's nobody who cares for that, other than the fact that the content is good enough that people stick around and read it. And,
right.
And it's ranking as a result of that.
Yeah. So I would say you could probably do some on-page SEO.
Yeah.
To improve it, but I mean I do think that there's a chance you're going to need a backlink or two to really hit number one.
I agree. So what I'm thinking of is initially doing on-page SEO for all my existing content, and once I do that, because that's the low-hanging fruit, all I need is literally transcripts of my interviews and like the high-level summaries of those things and put them up, and then I can go to the second level of like, okay, now let me do off-page SEO.
Yeah, I would say do on-page SEO for your top 20 blog posts, because if you go into Google Analytics, I will bet you anything that 95% of your traffic comes from those posts. Sure. Then what you can do is look at the rest of them and go, which of these have these high volume keywords where if I did improve the page, I'd suddenly be ranking for this like amazing keyword that I'm not like, you know, if you're on page 3 for a keyword that gets 3,000 searches a month, that's worth investing in.
Page 3 of 3,000 search.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm wondering about, you talked about the search volume and stuff like that. About what percentage do you think you get when you rank for something that has?
So it's like, so with it like it's an 80-20 curve. So it's, or a 95-5 curve. Like
it's a very depreciating curve.
It's like 50% click on the first one, 30% click on the second one, 10% click on the next one, and then you get a little bump at the bottom. The very last one above the next button gets a little bit of a bump, but it's like everything below that gets like just a handful.
Right.
So you want to get in the top 3 if you really want it.
Top 3 is really, top 3 is really important. And then, then it also kind of depends on the keyword itself, because certain keywords are more informational, and Google has gotten really good about pulling out all the proprietary information on your page and putting it right there, so they don't have to click through. So you get the number 1 ranking, but nobody clicks on it because you're answering the question right there.
Yeah.
Because Google wants to keep people on Google.
Thanks,
so
Google.
that's something to keep in mind too. But
so don't make it too easy for Google. Rank number 2 instead of number 1.
They'll pull stuff out of it doesn't matter. You can't game it. They'll pull stuff out of the top 10 and I've seen them cobble together answers from multiple. With one of ours, they took our text and a graphic from another website and matched them together. Yep. So you can't beat the system. You just have to acknowledge it.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk more on Tuesday, I guess.
Sounds good.
There's a lot I need to do.
What's on Tuesday?
Manny and I are just gonna have a call about talking about SEO. So.
Oh, so I got contacted by a reporter from Inside Edition who wanted to interview me. She watched one of my YouTube videos on I'm 30 and living at home. You heard about that guy that like got kicked out of his parents' house?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So she's like, she messages me on Facebook, and then and she's like, can I give you a call to interview you? So I was like, okay, yeah, you can give me a call. So I give her my phone number. She calls me up and she's like, yeah, I really liked your video. I watched the video. It was really good. And she's like, but you heard about this guy that got kicked out of his parents' home. I kind of wanted to present the other side. So I thought, as you being successful, still living at your parents' house, being over 30, and I was like, so you liked the video, huh? He's like, yeah, it was really good. And I was like, yeah, I think I think you got the wrong person here.
I might want to watch it again.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure you're gonna like my opinion on being over 30 living at home.
John, in the interest of traffic, you could have moved in just for a day.
I know.
In the interest of 10xing the traffic on Simple Programmer.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's very selfish of you.
I know.
You didn't sell your soul for the clicks.
Just for one day. You would have hit Insider, you would have been on TV, you would have been everywhere. And then you can be like, oh, I made so much money from this exposure. I'm moving out by myself now.
Yeah.
Did she ask you if this was your dungeon in which you hide out at your parents' place?
Nice.
All right.
John's son, miss, who does YouTube from his mom's basement.
Yeah.
And he has all these medals in the background that we don't know understand.
They're all participation trophies.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh
YouTube play button in your mom's basement. How did that happen?
Love it.
All right.
Oh, did you see, Josh, that I guess SkillSoft paid us a bunch of money? Did we ever get like something that like they paid us a commission?
Yeah, I got a statement from them a while back. So I was expecting it was like it looked like a decent chunk. Did it just come through today?
Well, I saw it the other day. It's like $7,000, I think.
What's the math behind it?
For SkillSoft? Yeah. That's like, so we're licensing them the career guide. So they distribute it. It's kind of like it's a little bit like Kindle Unlimited where we get paid by page reads.
Oh.
So yeah, so that's good because I wasn't expecting the first quarter that we worked with them. It was like a okay amount, but it wasn't that much, and I was expecting that was kind of be the peak of it because they did like a promotion internally to get people to look at it, and I thought that it would peter out after that, but it seems like it hasn't. So
yeah, that's good. That's like a 3-month statement, right?
Yeah, that was
7,000 from a quarter. Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
How's your hire working out, the writer?
Me, Sheena.
I guess you guys, yeah.
So I've worked with her on a couple projects. So we did we're still finalizing that book that she put together. Mainly it's been my fault just being slow to respond to her emails. But I think we're just about there with that. So I won't know how that does until we do the launch here soon.
But what do you think of the quality of the writer, etc.?
She's been okay. It's more, yeah, like I had her do a blog post about code reviews for the site. And it was like a lot of back and forth, but it was my fault for not being clear up front. So it was educational. I had to have her rewrite it like 3 times. And it was more just because I think a lot of it was that I wasn't clear on what I wanted. But it was okay. It was on par with what we get from some of our writers for the blog. some of the free writers. So not a home run like I was hoping. But it was kind of a tough assignment. So I don't know. I'll probably give her at least one more swing at something else. So, but yeah, it really seems like I've had luck so far with coming up with good topic ideas and throwing them to our team of free writers and like having them go after them and basically I just tell them, look, if you pick up this, I know this, I did the research on this, the keyword research, this is probably going to get you a lot of exposure. And they're all looking to like build their. We have a guy, Lou, John, one of our writers. He sent a screenshot of his Google Analytics, and it's like 17% of his referral traffic now is coming from Simple Programmer. So he's getting 17% of his total traffic is coming from Simple Programmer. So he's getting a good benefit out of it. So I made a few changes where I like increased the visibility of a little bit of their profile and stuff, and so they're getting probably more click-throughs now. But yeah, I've got 3 or 4 posts that I've identified that are like Pluralsight review is one that I'd really like to get out there.
Oh, yeah.
So I threw that one out there. The Java one, and then the JavaScript interview questions one, that will be a blockbuster. Coding interview questions, I got that one published, and that's done well. That's like almost become one of our top posts now. So, yeah, it's working. The keyword, like doing the keyword research, and then basically doing whatever. I've tried 3 different things now to get writers, and all of them seem to work fairly well. So it's just a matter of, I'm going to be, the SEO company that I hired is going to be feeding me keyword data to throw into our process. And
what are they going to do for you?
The SEO company? Okay, so I hired them. I don't know if I've talked about it too much, but I hired them 2 months ago. They're basically, I'm giving them all the technical side of the SEO. So link building, optimizing the site, analyzing the backlink profile, cleaning that up. So they're going to handle all of that for me. And then just ongoing, most of it, once we get past the initial cleanup process, most of it will be link building. So basically, I just tell them, here's the top 5 posts. I want links to these because I want these all to hit number 1. And then they're just going to go build links. And they've done some of that already. Are
they good at link building? Because link building is the biggest fucking pain.
Yeah, it seems like I'm thinking that once we get past all the initial stuff, they're helping me with optimizing the site. Technically, once we get past all that stuff, I think I'm going to be able to get links for around $100 each. Which is
per link.
Per link.
Per post.
Per link. So that is, and from what I have heard, I've talked to another guy who actually built his own team to do SEO, and then found out it was costing him more to do this internally than to hire this group. So he said $100 a link is pretty good. Like that's basically what he's found to be. And even if you go buy a link, like I bought a link on a blog just as an experiment a while back, and it was $80. So, and for me to do it, I figured out the time it takes is about an hour. It would take me at least an hour between doing all the research, sending the emails, doing the follow-up. It's about an hour. So, whatever I value my time at, I charge $500 an hour when I do consulting. So, it's probably a better $100 for a link is a good deal for me.
Yeah.
Especially, and if they're quality links, right? It's like,
yes, right. And they're doing they're going after sites that are decent quality. Like the links that they got me were all from sites that had more clout than you've got now, Manny, with yours, or that I have on my blog. So they were they're not tiny, they're not huge, they're not tiny. They're kind of like that medium, and they're going to go after some bigger ones too. So then they're also going to do.
Hey, Miles does link building.
What's that?
Oh yeah,
Miles's company does link building, but I think they're pretty big, so may not be good enough for you guys. I don't know how big is your SEO agency.
I'm not sure actually how many people they've got. They're I think they're relatively small, like probably well under 50 people.
50 people is still big, yeah.
I mean, the question is what we're paying them, right? Because that's really so we're what 2,500 a month, is it, or 2,000?
Yeah.
So
2,000 a month for 20 backlinks.
Yeah.
So that's the guarantee they're giving you? 20 backlinks?
No, but just based on what they've provided already, I'm thinking it should be at least it should be I think it's going to be $50 to $100 per link where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
So I won't know until we get a full month of them just doing link building, which won't be for another 3 or 4 months probably.
Okay.
But it looks like so far they're seeing. So we did a bunch of changes. They've seen. I just had a call with them yesterday, and they've seen. They're tracking about 1,000 keywords for us, just to like gauge the health of the site. And we've moved up. We moved up on 71 keywords from the work that we've done so far. So seems like we're heading in a good direction.
Moved up by how many ranks? It doesn't matter.
I'm not sure. Yeah, they're just basically monitoring the movement, whether it's up or down, and like how many keywords we're rising for. It's like a broad. It's like almost like weighing yourself or something. Like it's like a very gross.
It's so hard to evaluate what the value of any given link is. Well, you can evaluate the value of rank, right? If they get you rank 1, then you know, okay, 1,000 clicks, 100 emails per month, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, yeah, I want to see, what I want to see is like in 6 months, I want to see a pretty significant upward trend in our SEO traffic from this. And it will be obvious if this is working. Like if it's working, I think within a year, we should double our traffic. Like that's the level of increase that I'm looking for.
Double the traffic, double the business.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but it's that whole problem of if you give someone $1, how many dollars do you give them before they're rich? And if you take away $1, right, before they're no longer rich, it's like because it's such a small increment change. Like you can't detect the change until you have enough of a change.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and with what we'll see is that they're going to concentrate on the top 10 blog posts that are like we've got one where it is we're ranking number 1 and then we're ranking number 4 and we're ranking number 1 and we're like bouncing in and out of number 1, and my traffic does this. Like it's crazy. Like when we're ranked number 1, we get an extra 2,000 clicks a day, and then I mean it's crazy. It's great. So if we can nail down number 1.
So what's the difference? Number 1 to number 4 in terms of traffic?
I mean, it's probably more like maybe 500 to 1,000 clicks a day.
Okay, and the number 4 is what?
I mean, the difference is probably 500 to 1,000 clicks. Yeah. So, and then so I mean, if we can nail that number 1 spot for that, that's a huge difference. And there's probably 10 or 20 keywords that if you nail number 1 on 10 or 20 keywords for us, we would double our traffic, no problem.
Yeah.
How many keywords do you rank number 1 for right now?
I have no idea, actually. I could look. It would be in Google Webmaster Tools.
Oh, but you're giving them specific 20 keywords to go get number 1 on right now.
Yeah,
each of those average volume, what's it?
I target stuff that's in the 3,000 to 5,000 searches a month range or more. So
that's like around 60,000 to 100,000.
Right.
Uniques.
It would make a big difference.
Yeah, somehow I want to be able to evaluate, okay, this many searches, so this many number of subscribers, so this many dollars. So now I can know if the number of subscribers I get from the hits translates to the value that I'm paying the guy to do the SEO work.
Yeah, it's tough. It is really tough. I mean, with SEO, it sucks, but it does have, there is like it's a long process. What I would recommend, what I tell people is like, invest in doing it yourself at first.
Yeah.
Get to the point where you can you know the process well enough that you can maybe increase your traffic 10 or 25%. So you see it happen. You know how it works. You know what's possible, and then you're ready to like hire somebody. I had a guy email me this week who's been on my list for a long time, and he's a marketing guy. He does like copywriting, but he just basically, his company got acqui-hired and he's leaving. And he reached out. He's like, hey, do you need any help? And I was like, well, have you done any SEO? And he's like, yeah. Because I need somebody to help me go through blog posts and like rewrite the meta tags and like just do the on-page SEO. And I don't want to screw with that myself. And so this guy's like, yeah, I did that with my old job. So I was like, okay, do a video here. Take this blog post. I gave him one of our blog posts on VBA, which is one of our top keywords. I said, tell me what you would do with this blog post. And he sent me a 20-minute video and a full page outline in Microsoft Word of all the steps that he would do with it. And it was gold. I mean, it was everything I knew to do, and then an extra 30% on top of that.
So how much is he charging?
I don't know. I basically told him, okay, tell me, I'm going to do a pilot project with him. Like, here's a blog post. What would you charge to do everything you just told me for this one blog post? And we'll see. So, I mean, if he's reasonable, I might just do 10 blog posts a month with him or something. And just
how much would a blog post cost you to redo the SEO work? What do you think?
Me personally?
I mean, how much would you pay?
How much would I pay? I'm probably willing to pay a couple $100, depending on
because it's for lifetime at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
at least on-page stuff is lifetime, more or less.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So yeah. But I was able to recognize that this guy could do exactly what I needed done, because I've done it myself and seen the results. And I have confidence that if he does what he's telling me he's going to do, I know what the result will be. But 6 months ago, I wouldn't have wanted to hire anybody to do this.
See, that's the whole reason why you got to do something first before you hire someone to do it. Even if you do it poorly, it's so hard to hire people when you haven't done the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shall we transition into thoughts?
Sure. It's a standoff. Standoff. No one has any thought.
Who will crack?
I'd kick us off, but I don't have anything. I'm sitting here thinking, what do I want to say?
All right. Well.
Okay, I'll kick it off. And I want to talk about something I learned from Ray Dalio's principles the last couple of weeks, and that's thinking about fourth-order consequences rather than first-order consequences. So first-order consequence of a thing, for example, a workout, is pain, suffering, intense hurt, all that stuff. The second-order consequences, you actually kind of feel good after a while, after 2 hours, or after an hour or after 30 minutes of working out, or even right after working out, you feel good. You have the hormones flowing into your system. You have a high. You get a high from the workout. The third order consequence is you actually get healthier over time. Like you build muscle, you lose fat. Fourth order consequence, you live a longer life, and not only that, you have a sharper brain because you're working out. So most people are stuck thinking just about the first order consequences in life. Whatever you're not succeeding at in life, you're mostly thinking about the first order consequences because you're very short-term focused rather than long-term focused. Because the more the orders of consequences you can think of, the more long-term you can think of. And that's my thought.
Nice. I'm still formulating some of the thoughts that I want to share, and I mean I've been pretty quiet today just because I'm still churning through them. But I was listening to the book The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Michalowicz.
Yep.
And
is that the Profit First guy?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And he talks about building something that stands out, that's different from what other people offer. And I realized that I do mostly what other people do as far as like podcast sponsorships and stuff. And I don't really dive that deep into some of these other areas where I could really serve people. And so I'm trying to just work through what that looks like and what I want to do. And I have some ideas, but I really love the idea of just being challenged, right? It's like, how can I take this to the next step? How can I be the number one or number two out there and really just own this space. And yeah, I mean, it's a pile of more work that I have to figure out in order to be able to deliver it. But at the same time, it's also, there are some really positive and powerful things that are going to come out of this, I think. And yeah, I don't know if I want to talk publicly about what I'm thinking yet. I think I want to write it out and just kind of hammer it out and then get some people's opinions, including yours. But yeah, it's just been interesting to kind of work through that and figure out, okay, here's what we're going to offer. Here are some of the things that we can do that are different from what everybody else does.
All right, so I think my thing that I've been dealing with lately is fear, and what I find works for me is really just figuring out incremental steps to where you can test it and you go, okay, that didn't hurt so bad. That didn't hurt so bad. And so what I've been doing is I'm sort of like we've talked about, kind of coming out from behind the curtain more and more, and I've just been super afraid that I was going to get backlash, so the first thing I did was I just sent an email to half of our list with my name on it, right? That was baby step one. And then this week I sent out a broadcast email to the whole list with my name on it that I wrote as me, kind of doing some of the similar things that John would do with giving people advice. And I got I was kind of cringing and waiting for the backlash, and I got no backlash. I got a couple people who wrote back with some really good, thoughtful responses, and it wasn't so bad. And the open rates weren't bad or anything. I'm doing the same thing. I'm starting to roll out this membership program that I want to become the core of what we're doing with Simple Programmer, and I'm just petrified that this thing's going to fail, even though I know it won't. I'm just really so. What I did was I found a tiny group of people. I emailed them. I got a bunch of people already into it. I've got 13 or 14 people signed up now, and they're all interacting and they're happy, and so it's now I've got this little nucleus of people, and I'm starting to expand that out. And next step is going to be to email a bigger group of people, invite them in. I'm going to try to get up to 25 and then to 50. And
what's this membership group?
It's going to be, I'm calling it the Developer Career Mastermind, and it's going to be it's going to be a membership group that is the core of anytime I do any kind of product launch or anything, there's going to be a component to get people into this membership. So,
how much are you charging?
Currently, so first 25 people I'm bringing in for $19, and I picked that just because.
19?
Yeah.
A month?
Yes, a month. I picked that.
Charge more.
I'm going to. So, but I wanted to get a few yeses to build my confidence. Now I want to fill that to 20. I want to get 25 people at $19. Then it's going up to $29. Then it's going to go to $49. But I need to build my confidence on this slowly, and
you should charge a lot more.
What I want to do eventually is I'm going to change it to a 12-month membership for $4.99.
Yeah.
So, but I need to get. I want to have a bunch of people. I don't want to do a big launch with an empty store. I want to have a bunch of people in it. I want to have stories of people that have already gotten benefit out of it. I want to have content we've created for it already there. So when I do the big launch, there's.
How did you sign up the beta group?
I literally sent an email to 40 people who'd responded to a survey that I did, and asked them if they would be interested in doing this. And 12 of them said, well, it was probably 5 to 10 of them said yes. And then I also posted it in our Facebook group, and a bunch of people from there joined too. So
they already paid up. They're already on the monthly plan already.
Yeah. Yep. They're already paid. I don't even have the software. I think I'm going to switch it to a forum. I started it as a Slack group, and at 13 people, it's a hot mess already and completely unmanageable. So I'm going to switch to forum software, so that it becomes more, people can participate better. But I didn't even wait to get that in place. I just was I wanted to see if it would even fly at all. And so far it's been good. So.
I like it. I like the Though you should charge a whole lot more, because if I'm a developer,
well, yeah, I will, but I want to work my way up to it and figure out where the ceiling is, because so we did these consultations where we did like me and Jason did like these one-off 1-hour consultations, and we were like helping people map out a career plan for the next few months to get their next job or the promotion. And we had 6 people do that. And then I was going to try, my thought was, I bet you those people would be willing to do ongoing coaching to help us, for us to help them implement that. And I said, okay, like, so I emailed all of them and said, we're going to do ongoing coaching. Here's what you'll get, $500 a month. Mm-hmm. No. All 6 of them were like, no, thank you, too much. The one guy said, I was thinking more in the $50 to $100 range.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, yeah, which is where I'm thinking this will end up. I mean, and we could eventually do, I'm thinking that it might be useful to have a way to facilitate groups like this. Mm-hmm. And that would be something we could charge $100 a month, where it's like more.
Are you doing weekly calls on this, monthly calls on this? What are you doing?
Currently, we're not doing any calls, but I'm going to probably do like some kind of, at least a monthly thing. I'm talking to somebody about doing like a webinar in July, like a content webinar for members. So yeah, I'll probably do 1 or 2, like either like an office hours type of thing where we answer questions, or live webinar type of thing at least once or twice a month. And that will all go in the content library. So we'll be building that as we go. But
yeah, it's good. Would you take John into it?
Would I accept John as a member?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to think. I personally check out everyone's social media profiles before they join. So I don't know. John's living in his parents' basement, I've heard.
Yeah. You have to watch out.
You have to be successful to be a part of this group. So baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps for John.
For me.
Let's see. All right. So my thought, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. This is interesting. I don't know the answer to this, but I'll just pose questions, I suppose. I've talked to a lot of people recently struggling with some of the same issue, which I've been struggling with, which is basically this: is it almost seems to be like a conundrum, like a problem of kind of the path of personal development and kind of Stoic philosophy, which is that you kind of reach a point of contentment at some point. And when you do, it's very hard to be motivated. It's very hard to have any kind of ambition, which is, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad-ish thing. I mean, I guess Seneca would say it's not a bad thing. He'd say just study philosophy and retire. But as far as like, I don't know, like it's very difficult, I think. And I've talked to a few people that have run into the same thing. It's like, yeah, I kind of achieved all the goals that I really wanted to. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now. Don't really have any, but I'm struggling with it for sure, because I want to go, like, I want to push forward, but I just don't have the, I have nothing that's driving me. Right. So it's like, it's very hard to go any direction, or to find a direction that's worth it. And it's like, oh, do you want to make more money? Nah, well, what am I going to do with that? I don't know. Like, what I mean? It's like all these things are not appealing to me. So yeah. So I don't know. I think I don't have a good solution for this, but this is, I think, the kind of maybe one of the downsides of this path in life. So,
of which path?
Of the path of like Stoic philosophy and personal development, is that you kind of reach a point of contentment.
I don't know if that's got something to do with philosophy or with just the fact that where you are in life today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of the two, right? It's like, kind of, yeah, I think it's a combination of the two.
Seriously, Seneca would say you should chill out. I mean, Epictetus probably would not say that. Marcus Aurelius would kick your ass.
Yeah, no, but Seneca would, because Seneca, in his letters to Lucilius, said that he should just get away from the political life, just retire, like, hide away and give up your ambition.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. Many people
If you
who
give
say
away
you
all
should
your
give up
worldly
ambition.
possessions, John, then you have to start over, and then you'd be like, oh crap, I need money.
I've been telling John this all the time. Like, just give us the money. Give
Yeah.
us the money, and you will be happy. We'll be happy. That's it. You will be motivated as fuck to get it done.
Maybe I'll be like, well, it's kind of. I'll just be.
John would be like just living under a bridge and be happy.
No, he'll be living in his mom's garage.
That's true. Yeah. See, that's the problem. Is
So, John, your first objective right now is to go broke. Then we can start talking about this shit again.
Yeah. See, but that doesn't solve the problem because then, like I said, like if you're okay with being broke,
You will not be okay with being broke.
you think so? I don't know.
Have you tried it for a month?
That would actually be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Have you done the poverty experiment that Seneca talks about?
Well, in many ways, right? I've gone without food and
Live outside your home. See what that feels like.
Like live in the street for a while.
Right? That's what Seneca says.
Yeah.
No, you can appeal.
It's not a bad idea.
Oh, shit. Now we'll see.
Oh no,
John panhandling in downtown.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be interesting. All
Before
right.
we do any more damage, we should probably end this.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
All right. See you guys next week.
See you guys.
Bye.